City officials are unsure.
Gone bad. According to witnesses, the victim was uncooperative with the robber, which led to the gunshot.
Oh, come on. It's what he is, a rich bum. I don't know how else to describe it.
Well, that may be true, but that family has been
Topping the list again as the most eligible bachelor, though his recent erratic behavior might...
Take back the night to restore this city to the glory that it held long before this. He took our responsibility from us.
What is going on, Knights? Critical Redemption here, and I'm really excited to announce this. Telltale Games, the people who brought you The Walking Dead Season 1, The Walking Dead Season 2, The Wolf Among Us, 3 great titles, they got a hold of Batman, the license, and I'm really excited. I saw the teaser trailer at the Game Awards, and wow. I mean, even though it was only like a minute long, and they were really just showing like comic book, you know, pictures of Bruce Wayne and everything, it's going to be incredible. But the thing is, a lot of fans are saying, you know, hopefully they don't ruin it. Well, in this video, I want to basically say, I want to say my Batman game, 8 ways to make it truly incredible. I mean, you didn't see this coming. Nobody did. Not long after we all lamented the fact that Batman Arkham Knight, for some people, didn't end well and wasn't satisfying, but for me, I enjoyed it. Now, before you go into like hatred and everything, think about this. At least it could be amazing, providing that Telltale knows how to use the license best. But so far, the development is right up with Lego when it comes to other companies, letting them release products like featuring their iconic likenesses. But these results haven't been almost the best on the other side. So Batman is arguably the biggest property they've acquired yet, and this is something really big, and they're stepping under a huge shoe. And although there's tons of things that could go wrong in having dialogue focused on Dark Knight experiences, here are my 8 things that hopefully they'll get spot on. Number 8, don't replicate any specific story arc. This is something that fans do not want to see. If you've not played any of the Telltale's games before, just know that a lot of appeal is choosing to say or do any number of things, not knowing what the result is going to be further down the line, and that's something that fans really like. But the repercussions are felt multiple times across various episodes, like The Walking Dead and The Wolf Among Us, that make up a particular season of their games. And for the reason alone, Telltale Games Batman can't rely on a storyline where the fans will be shouting from the rooftops knowing it's going to end. That's something that we cannot see in this game. That was the main problem with Arkham Knight. We knew from the very first thing the character said that it was a certain former Robin that was under the Arkham Knight mask. So that's something they really got to focus on while they're working on this game. And I'm sure, you know, to have the best story will always be one that throws curveballs and big reveals as the player every few minutes rather than spending too long building towards an obvious final. That's for number 8. And for my number 7, I really have to say is, please lay off the Joker. I mean, I love the Joker to death, don't get me wrong, but we've seen him in Arkham Origins, we've seen him in Arkham City, Arkham Asylum, you know, in all these games. He's a great character, but like anything, it's kind of mainstream, you know, and it'll drag people out and feel like it's been so long. And now that we're going to see Jared Leto upcoming portrayal is set to royally excite people, we don't really need to see this right now. Arkham City's premise being centered on Hugo Strange is how he knows the true identity of Batman as far by interesting prospect, which is really cool. The character works best when he's utilized in the most impactful way possible, and this is something they really got to work on. The guy's a revolver, not a machine gun. You load him up and let him fly when the time's right, and you always make sure you don't run in and out of ammunition. So please don't bring the Joker into this again. It would be cool to see some Joker scenes, but not have the game focus entirely around the story of the Joker. I mean, this is played out in every single Arkham game, and Like I said, I have love for Mark Hamill's Joker, but I'm getting tired of seeing him, and so many fans are too. My number 6, and sure, you can't save everyone, and this is something big. I try not to refer back to Arkham Knight too much, but it's hard when so many things were set, to be on like a fallout or a knockout. Case point, the Jason Todd storyline, for example. The explanation of the one-time Batman completely failed at protecting someone close to him. We already know this. Todd takes his anger out of Bats more in the suit of Arkham Knight, questioning how the Dark Knight got on him with his life so fast without really making sure he was dead. But, get this, we never get an answer. Being able to embody Bruce's mindset in moments like these is something they really need to focus on. And this is something that's really true. Some of the best moments in comic book history are giving our heroes impossible odds, and that's something really interesting. Before watching them die, trying to make ends meet, that'd be something really cool to see. There should be at least a handful of times where Bruce literally has to weigh up pros and cons in an impactful situation and live with the consequences no matter how dire. And this is something that I really want to see in this game. Like I said, we really haven't seen anything else. My number 5. Something would be really cool to see multiple protagonists. Bruce Wayne, Jim Gordon, and Gotham citizens. That'd be something really cool. Sure, I mean, Telltale has said that it's going to be focused on the mind of Bruce Wayne, but it'd be something missing of a trick if they didn't also show guys like Jim Gordon hard at work too. I mean, think about it. The GCPD in general really gets a look in, which understandably is hard thanks to them continually being shown up by the real star of the show, Batman. Think about it. Would you rather play as the Bat yet again, or be some random cop on the job who comes against him in an alleyway following a major crime scene and then approaching him? Think of the choices, the ramifications of trying to take him in, talking to him. That'd be something really cool. Knowing the power of the force you're up against, the Batman. These are all things that are sort of ideas for a game to be addressed, and that'd be something really cool. The citizens of Gotham are never going to get their own game, but providing it didn't drag too much, they might just be perfectly suited for a third on this one, and this is something I'd really like to see. Yes, we could play as Bruce Wayne, aka Batman, but I'd like to see some choices when it comes to Jim Gordon approaching his best friend, aka the Batman. My number 4. Telltale needs to update their game engine. Seriously, I mean, I'm not a game developer, but you can tell Telltale are still using the same engine today as they did in The Walking Dead in the year 2012. Some titles hold together better than others for whatever reason, but the latest Game of Thrones episode looks truly terrible in my honest opinion. The background art style was aiming to be some sort of oil painting, but it just looked too low resolution for me and straight up bad, especially on the newer hardware. Think about it. Graphics certainly don't make the game, but at some point, they have to step things up considerably. I mean, this is the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One that we're thinking about. The only competition out there for similar titles that thrive on conversation options and facial animations are Sherlock Holmes, Crimes and Punishments. That's a game I haven't played. Or the long-forgotten LA Noire, which was a lot of fun. And major problem, once you see Telltale's logo, the first thought is, oh, well, it's a weird cartoon style thing again, rather than visually immersed powerhouse, and that's something they really need to focus on, in my honest opinion. Number 3, no controllable fight scenes. Please. Here's the thing. Telltale games really don't play well. Sure, they're very tightly written and immediately engaging by asking what you'd say in given a situation, but think about it. When any action-heavy set piece kicks in or you're forced to interact with the engine in one-on-one fashion, it falls apart considerably. And that's at least what I think. Think about it. There's a possibility that Telltale are developing something of a fighting system for their new spin-off of Batman. Think about it. It's better to focus entirely on speech and animations and the characters instead. And also the relationships. Nobody wants to mess up saving the day as Batman or failing to the point stick towards a given enemy plot or an item just just because it was unresponsive or badly telegraphed. I mean, think about it. So even the most action-heavy parts of these games should take place entirely in cutscenes, and that's something that should be taken considerably. That way we can just point Batman in any given situation, tell him what to do, and watch him pull it off. That'd be freaking badass. Our actions are only filtering in every now and then, and something I really like to see. Number 2, include some brilliant detective scenes. Okay, this is Telltale Games. Think about it. Batman is a detective. By the time Arkham Knight came around, Batman was only maintaining his world's greatest detective label thanks to a specific vision modes in his cowl that did most of the work for him. I like to see something different. Let's see Telltale's Bat have things stripped back, with, for example, with gameplay mechanics created specifically around some good old-fashioned detective work. Now, the point in the Dark Knight movie where Bruce reconstruates his fire bullet and pulls a fingerprint was just touching to me. The limit in terms of true identity, but technology could be at your disposal and be choices to our players should you have the right amount of evidence in hands first, and this be something really cool to see. I'd like to see him going around solving a case. The best part of the aspect of the game is like in Arkham Origins, your clues point to all sorts of scenarios, and that was something really I enjoyed about that. They're immediately interesting, like main characters being killed or others being taken away from a crime scene. It was up to you to thumb through various VR simulations where you recreated the crime scene, and it was really freaking cool to see that. Think about it. Telltale, listen to the fans. And my number 1, get the balance right between choices and the characters. Regardless of anything you did in The Walking Dead's first season, it was an elaborate puppet show. It was a great game because of all roads lead to a specific final anyway. And the resolution that for some fans pissed them off. It could be pretty off-putting. In Batman's world, it's highly unlikely he gets anything wrong. But if Telltale could focus and put together a script that would account for any choice you made and ran with by revealing the true nature of all near at the very end, that would be making the gameplay far more valuable. Think about it. I mean, come on, Knights. Because if there's one thing that identities each and every one of their products, it's that we play through them once and never again. Most of the time it's down to progress carrying over from one episode to the next, but even with that in mind, having an incentive to go on and back and alter your path would be incredible. Discovering different content, enemies, villains along the way would help distinguish the game from Telltale's past efforts, and this is something I'd really like to see. You know, they said in Walking Dead you could go back and do this. For me, I only played it once, and you know, even if you make different decisions, at the end it's still the same ending. That's my thoughts. I'm really excited to see what they're going to do with this. Telltale Games, you guys have made some great series, and I'm really excited to see what they do with Batman. Until then, Knights, this is Critical Redemption. I'm out for now. Happy gaming. Take care.